Um, so last couple weeks we've been attacking from side control. And last week we worked on being able to transition and attack at the same time. So popping up knee on belly, hitting that arm bar, crossing to mount, hitting that head and arm choke. This week we're going to work on a couple collar chokes. That's why I forced the pajamas today, even though it's a bit warm. We're going to work on my favorite choke, the baseball bat choke, from knee on belly, which is one of its most dominant positions to be hit from. So when I'm here, I start out, and I'm going to start out in just traditional side control. The only difference in between what we did last week and this week when we pop up is going to be our top hand placement. So where previously we backed our hand out and went to the shoulder here to pop up, I'm going to keep this hand right on the back of his t-shirt tag, grabbing his collar, thumb in here. As I do that, I'm going to pop myself up with my knee, and now remember, I'm leaning back into Riley to relieve pressure because I like Riley, because this is how you should stay pressure on Riley the whole time. This is so I can talk and Riley doesn't die. I'm keeping this hand in, but I'm not being lazy about it. I'm keeping him curled up that little bit. So I'm here, I'm keeping Riley curled up and using this to off-balance him. Because all I'm looking to do is sneak this hand in, 4 fingers in. Alright? Here, here. And what I want to do is actually connect my thumb and my pinky next to each other when I'm doing this choke the right way. The further your hands are apart, the weaker this choke is going to be. So when I'm here, I want to make sure this choke is as tight as possible by grabbing my baseball bat the right way. Does that make sense? So I pop up, I get here, I reach this hand in. I grab that as tight as I can. Now, all we're going to do is I'm going to slide this knee back to that same side that the first hand was on. I'm going to sit out, and we're going to go over the first option, which is I'm going to slide over and keep my head up and drop that there. For those of you who are like, man, this is going to be a lot of violent chokes today, you're absolutely right. One of my favorite violent choke days. So when we're here, I'm up, I'm moving. All I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this knee across that arm, almost like I'm trying to go to north-south position. As I'm here, all I'm going to do is pivot on that knee. As I do, I'm rolling my wrist across the top of his throat and driving his head this way. As soon as this knee comes around, all I do is drop my elbow here, and Riley's in a lot of trouble very quickly. From the other side, so you guys can see this angle here, this thumb goes in, right? I'm here. I reach my hand in. Boom. I'm here. I slide my knee up and around. That allows me to then drop my forearm right across his throat and finish this choke. Benefit of this option is you don't sacrifice the back. A lot of people, when they teach this initially, and it'll be the next option I show you, is a lot of people will do the sacrifice baseball bat where you roll towards your back. I don't like that one as much when this is available. So if you catch someone being lazy and they let you set that grip and they don't start immediately attacking your arm, it's a great option.
What if they attack your elbow?
That's why you're pulling him up. Because my arm's straight here, he should attack this elbow. Every bit of him should do that. That's why I'm keeping this up and bent. Is because if I leave this laying around, I've taught you guys the second someone extends their hand near your ear, grab that because it might be. Like, that's not something you should be looking for. That's why I'm keeping this elbow turned down and rolling him up that little bit. So that way I can make him think, oh, he's just trying to control my neck. So that way I can come through.
What if he pushes that opposite way and then he can choke out? Relieve it, or is that just 4%?
So watch, when I'm here, this hand is 95% of the choke. So if he pushes this
No, I'm
arm,
saying now.
so if he starts to push this, he's like,
Oh, so you're just...
yeah, if his arms are stronger than my entire body, you fucked up this move and life choices in between here. So this is as always. Can someone be tough? Can someone defend? Can someone give themselves just enough space to survive? Yes. Is that the likeliest of outcomes with this? No. Because if you hit this properly, don't telegraph it, just hit it a little bit quick, a little bit of violence. This is one of those get me out of your taps because this is very quick.
If you can't tell the guard.
Yeah, the gargle noise is not just for the sound effects. It really, if you hit this right, will happen. Other questions on this? So we're here. Around this collar, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna keep my elbow in here. Boom, I pop up. I like to do here. Because what I like to make him think is I'm trying to pull him up, almost like I'm gonna go to the back. And I'll actually start kind of forcing him this way to make him flatten this shoulder out, because that gives me this shift. So I will start pulling people up this way, almost like I'm trying to kickstand him towards his back. Because the natural, that doesn't feel right, does it?
No.
Like it feels like, oh man, he's gonna take my back, which I like. Because that forces him this way, which then sets this hand. I knee slide through. Man, if only we had a warm-up drill where we worked on like knee slide. Crazy, isn't it, James? Crazy how that works.
So you're going in for baseball.
Baseball slide. Damn. I slide that knee through. As soon as it pivots down here, I will stay on my knees here because I also will gunslinger here if I need to. But most of the time, you should just be able to drop your weight through that. If you want to sprawl out, you can. Questions on this version of the baseball back sit? So, left hand. So, the side I'm on, head side hand, thumb in. Far side hand, 4 fingers in. So it should literally look like you're grabbing a bat for baseball. Other questions on this? We're here. I pop up. Like I said, I like to kind of pull people this way with both of my hands, so that way he naturally tries to push-pull. He's going to react this way. It opens that collar up. Slide here. You hit it right. It's nice and violent. Makes life for Riley really suck. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I want to choke Mr. James and his new avocado knee or whatever the hell this color is. Alright, so I'm here. Boom, I pop up, knee on belly. I have this pulled up, right? Same thing, I'm going to go in for the grip here. But instead of sliding across, let's just say I'm not confident in going to that north-south position, not confident in my hand strength. Any of those things can be true, and that first choke may not work. So when I come here, instead of coming that way, I'm going to fall off, almost like I'm trying to sit hip to hip with him. As I do that, I'm going to try to bring James to where his head is right over my shoulder. As I do that, I'm going to pinch my elbows in and use that to start walking my hips away. Because as I'm here, all I'm going to do is fall off that side, start turning my elbows in, and walking him up. If you do this right, by the time you're sitting up, he should be tapped. So I'm here, boom. Like I said, I'm going to pull James this way because the natural reaction is not to just sit here. He's going to turn back into me, and that's going to allow me to sneak this hand in. As soon as this hand connects, especially for this one, I'm going here. Violence and a half, which I like about this choke. But the main goal of this choke is to sit next to him, get him over my shoulder, and pinch those elbows as much as I can. This is one, as soon as you sit, you have to be turning hard. That first one, you have half a second to kind of get a little bit of a better grip if you need to. This one, you have to pivot and turn. Did I see it? So when I'm here, boom, I'm up. I'll start attacking this arm because I want him to start to turn into me that hard. I sneak the hand. As soon as that hand connects, I drop that elbow down here. I come in, I start turning here. I'm going to loosen the grip so that James can breathe while I talk. I don't want him to die yet. But when I'm here, I'm trying to get him to where I can sit up and walk my feet away from him. Even with loose grips, this is tough. So, when I'm here, that's what allows me to finish that. Even when I loosen my grips purposely. If you do this right and walk yourself away from him, it'll work. Questions on this?
For these, especially this last one, can you also just do this for side control, or is it just a lot easier?
Yes and no. It is easier to do from knee on belly, but it is accessible from side control. I prefer attacking with knee on belly only because when I'm here, to come both hands on top without controlling his lower body gives me a lot of anxiety. You know, he can walk himself in, he can do other things that are going to give me just that nip of anxiety that I don't appreciate. That's why I like coming up, even if it's just for a half a second, because it gives me that control to get my hands set. Once your hands connect, guys, this is to James. Like, that's all this is. That's something it is. My hands connect, you get to die. Like, that's all it is. And that's got to be your mentality when you attack these two chokes. Because these aren't gentle, like, oh man, like you're gonna be all right. Like you'll tap and it'll be okay. Like this should hit, and they should feel like they have strep throat by the end. Like tomorrow, you're not like, oh, my neck hurts. You didn't choke each other. That's the type of assassin type of mentality you have to have with these two chokes. Questions on this?
Far side is 4 fingers, and your side is thumb, right?
Yes. So it's always, regardless which side, it's always that way. Because if not, your elbow is just in 100% position. Like if I'm here, like you'll feel it immediately that your hands are on, and it'll be pretty obvious. But yes, it's always the side you're on, far side.
So you said you prefer the other one more. When would this be?
This one I like a little bit more if I'm not comfortable going north south, or you got them rubber guys. Like if I have a guy like Josh Ward, that is exactly the perfect example. Josh had inversions, he was rubber.
Yeah,
he was
I'm gonna be
long.
out there in a minute.
I don't like going to north south for a guy like Josh Ward. He's full. He's got length, he's got leverage, he's flexible. That's going to be a problem. That's going to make going here, boom, I come around, he's going to start to invert up and start to cause me problems. If I don't hit that perfect, he's going to be countering pretty aggressively, and with his length, it's going to be pretty problematic. Where here, even with his length, I'm still in so much faster to where his only counter is to take my back, and that doesn't even save. It might buy you time, but if I get here and the packet can somehow start to take my back, it doesn't save you to take my back. I can still finish. So that's why I would prefer that if you get one of them rubber guys who really can invert and attack arms and attack feet that way, those people are going to be a lot harder to hit that first.
Another question. Then you take your back. Is it your horse standing up into one of that, or are you pulling?
This is always going to be predicated on the four-finger hand is 90% of your effort. So when I'm here, it's not this hand doing a lot. This is a support hand. Like the thumb hand is a support. 90% of the choke is in my wrist and in this arm. So always realize that that hand is doing 90% of your work. This is 10% with some position. Make sense? Other questions on this? Because I'm sure everyone wants to see it really hard, like game speed, like 5-10 times, right?
Yeah. Just a quick one for stating if I know you said if your hand get locked, your like that's pretty much messed up. Is the way to try to relieve that from so you said don't make the back fall around.
Yeah, to try to keep up with me.
Just like kind of like a anaconda.
Yeah, you gotta keep the circle starts. The problem is at some point if my hands are connected and I can hold a grip, my hands are connected and you're gonna run out of air. So even if you can relieve enough pressure where you don't go out, you're gonna eventually run out of it long before my grips do. Other questions here? Alright, Miller out. 1, 2, 3.
Safe because of your stupid neck.
Alright, so boom, I get here, right? Let's assume he doesn't suck at jiu-jitsu because he's been training with me for 4 years. Let's assume. So boom, I grab this collar, I start to sit him up, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna roll this way, but I'm not just gonna let him like do this. So he tries to roll his head towards the inside of my arm here. So he rolls his head in. All we're gonna do, guys, I'm gonna keep that thumb in grip. So he's here, he rolls that head to the inside. All I'm gonna do is keep that grip solid here and grab to the opposite side pants here. I sit in here, same concept, I drop the elbow down, and I'm keeping control of his hip while dropping this elbow here. So all you're doing is, a lot of people when I grab their collar here realize, hey, this kind of sucks. I think he's gonna baseball bat choke. They come here. Great. all we're going to do is use that against him. Same concept as the first move. I'm here, I roll across, but I'm keeping control of him here while dropping that elbow down. Basically, instead of this hand dropping across, it's this hand instead. Counter to the counter until someone dies. Hit, side, drop right by the counter. Belt, ground is the situation. Right? Self-defense purposes, that is the move. But as always, you're ever wondering, like, what should I do in a self-defense scenario? Grab his dick, twist it. It's always the move. But when I'm here, boom, he rolls that head to the inside. All I'm going to do is let him think, oh man, I blocked what he's doing. Here, I block here, here, and I'm just keeping control of his hips so that he doesn't run into me or run away. Here, that instantly allows me to drop that weight. Here, boom, finished. Same. If it's no, yeah, don't. Can you? Probably. Is it gonna land? Probably not. You don't have anchors. Yeah, you can like do the shoulder tap stuff, but it's gonna have such a low percentage of hitting. I would focus on that. Any other questions here? Like I said, it's a simple one. He rolls his head to the inside, drop that. Ready? 1, 2, 8.